The Little Match Girl's story. It was a cold winter evening in the city. The snow was falling heavily, and the wind was howling through the streets. A little girl, no older than 10 years old, was walking barefoot through the snow. She had no hat, no coat, and no gloves. She was shivering from the cold, and her feet were numb. The little girl was selling matches. She had a box of matches in her hand, and she was trying to sell them to passers-by. But no one was interested. Everyone was too busy rushing home to get out of the cold. The little girl was getting more and more discouraged. She was starting to lose hope. She thought that she would never sell all of her matches. Suddenly she saw a light in a window. She went up to the window and looked inside. She saw a warm, cozy room with a fire burning in the fireplace. A family was sitting around the fire, laughing and talking. The little girl felt a pang of longing. She wished she could be inside with the family. She wished she could be warm and happy. She took out one of her matches and struck it against the wall. The match flared up, and she cupped her hands around it to protect the flame from the wind. As she looked at the flame, she began to imagine that she was inside the house with the family. She could see them clearly in her mind. They were smiling at her, and they were inviting her to join them. The little girl smiled. She felt happy for a moment. But then the match went out, and she was back in the cold, dark street. She struck another match, and another, but each time the match went out, and she was back in the cold, dark street. Finally, she had only one match left. She struck it against the wall, and she held it up in the air. The flame flickered brightly, and the little girl closed her eyes. She made a wish. She made a wish. She wished that she would never be cold and hungry again. When she opened her eyes, she was no longer in the cold, dark street. She was in a beautiful garden. The sun was shining, and the birds were singing. The little girl looked around in wonder. She couldn't believe her eyes. She was in heaven. She saw her grandmother standing in the garden. Her grandmother was smiling at her, and she held out her arms. The little girl ran to her grandmother and hugged her. She was so happy to see her again. Her grandmother took her hand and led her through the garden. They came to a big, white house. "This is your home," her grandmother said. "You can stay here forever." The little girl was overjoyed. She couldn't wait to explore her new home. She and her grandmother went inside the house. The house was warm and cozy, and it was filled with beautiful things. The little girl felt like she was in a dream. She couldn't believe that she was finally happy. She went to bed that night feeling safe and loved. She knew that she would never be cold and hungry again. The next morning, the little girl woke up and found that she was back in the cold, dark street. But she didn't feel sad. She knew that she had been to heaven, and she knew that she would see her grandmother again someday. The little girl got up and brushed the snow off of her clothes. She then picked up her box of matches and started walking. She knew that she would never give up hope. She knew that one day her dreams would come true. Thank you for joining us on this journey with the Little Match Girl. While her story may tug at your heartstrings, it also serves as a powerful reminder that even in the bleakest of circumstances, hope can flicker and dreams can offer temporary solace. Remember, even the smallest spark can ignite a fire of hope within ourselves and those around us. Let us carry the spirit of the Little Match Girl with us, reminding ourselves to never extinguish the flame of hope, even when faced with the harshest realities. If you enjoyed this classic tale, please consider subscribing for more stories that explore the depths of human emotion and the enduring power of the human spirit. Until next time, may your own dreams illuminate your path. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment below to share your thoughts on this timeless story. We love hearing from you.